I don't know if you've seen this sort of, image or sort of chart. Yeah, this is six realms. Yeah, and then there are six realms that you may go after you die. So you may be reborn into. The optimal diet for 2024's spiritual renaissance. That's something I'm going to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Hachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Biohacking. So in the last two videos, I've shared with you about the 2024, that is the beginning of the next 20-year cycle. The Pluto is in Aquarius, according to astrology, right? And then there are some key words in this era, yeah, which is natural, spiritual, and ikigai. Natural because the time will be influenced by computer and technology a lot. So in order to keep the balance, you want to focus on natural method, natural diet, natural exercise, and so on. Yeah. Also, this period will become very spiritual. Spirituality become the keyword. Therefore, you want to incorporate spirituality in your biohacking practices. Yeah, the last three, the 20-year cycle, the 20 years is a long time. If you want to continue your biohacking lifestyle for 20 years, you want to make it your ikigai. You want to make it something that you can enjoy doing, right? And in the last video, I shared with you about exercise, the optimal exercise in 2024, right? So today, I will share with you about diet. Yes, the optimal diet in 2024. Right. Okay. So, first of all, for when you talk about the optimal diet or ideal diet, there is no such a thing. It's different for each person. So eventually you need to find the ideal diet for you. But generally speaking, yeah, it is often considered that both Mediterranean diet and Washoku, the Japanese diet, yeah, are very healthy, healthy and good for longevity. Two of the, regions in the blue zones are located in the Mediterranean area, and one of the blue zones region is in Japan. Yeah, so both Mediterranean diet and Washoku are wonderful for your, health and longevity in general. Yeah, right. Okay, so just use them as a kind of your models. Yeah, and also if you live in Europe, maybe the Mediterranean diet is closer because a lot of the ingredients in the Mediterranean diet are available in Europe. Yeah, and if you're in the Asian area, maybe washoku is easier for you to model because you can find the ingredients in washoku in your region. Yeah, and elsewhere you can kind of combine, both elements. Yeah, because you can kind of use some of the aspect of each diet in the ingredient in your region as well, right? Okay, and then so both diet, Mediterranean and Japanese, yeah, have one thing in common. That is, both have nutritional balance. Yeah, have a good balance of protein, carbs, fat, vitamins, and minerals. Right. Now, recently, many of the fat diet kind of focuses on eliminating something, eliminating carbs or eliminating fat or protein or something like that. But the idea is all nutrients are important and you want to have a good balance of them, right? Okay, so first of all, I'd like to share with you the natural aspect of your diet. Yeah, so I said in this Pluto in Aquarius age, naturalness, focusing on natural practices is important. So how can you make your diet natural? Yeah, so one obvious way is organic. Choose organic ingredients. Yeah, and choose local ingredient. Yeah. So this is because local ingredients are considered to be more suitable for your body since local products are produced by local bacteria Yeah, I'll talk about this later when I talk about Shindofuji, but it is supposed to kind of unify you with the natural kingdom. Therefore, it is more natural. Also, by consuming local and organic food, you are supporting local organic small-scale polyculture farming, which is a critical for the sustainability of the planet. Yeah. So you can also work on the planetary biohacking. Yeah. Okay. So what about spiritual then? How to bring spiritual element into your diet? Okay, so there is a good example that is Zen Shojin Diet. So we have a diet called Shojin Ryori or Shojin Diet, which is practiced a lot in Zen monasteries, among Zen monks. Yeah, so many of the natural Japanese diet are influenced by this Shojin diet. Yeah, so there are certain principles in Shojin diet which can which can help you with the spiritual growth, which can kind of level up your spirituality. So one thing is Shindofuji, as I talked about before. So what does it mean? So Shin means body, and Do means soil, and Fu means not, and Ji means two. So body and soils are not two, meaning body and soil are as one. Yeah, they are connected. Yeah. So also it's considered that your gut microbiome and soil microbiome are connected, and therefore, if you eat local food, local vegetable, they are produced by local soil microbiome. Yeah. So when they go into your gut, it kind of merge well into your gut microbiome, right? So for practical terms, eating locally and seasonally. Yeah, so you want to eat local food, but also you want to eat food that are in season. This aligns with the circadian rhythms too. So you can eat according to the season. It kind of helps you connect with the natural rhythm. Therefore, it is tied with your spirituality. Okay, the second principle in Zen Shojin diet is Ichibutsu Zentaishoku, which means eating food as a whole. For example, when you eat grain, eat whole grains instead of refined grain, such as whole wheat bread. Yeah, and or when you eat fish, eat a small fish because you can eat the whole fish rather than eating a part of a big fish. When you eat big fish, you usually cut and you can only eat a part of it. But in the concept of Ichibutsu Zentaishoku, it is better to eat the food as a whole thing. Because the concept comes from Buddhism. So it is a way of paying respect to life that we take. Because eating is in a way you're taking life of something else, life of a fish or life of a plant. Yeah. And if you do that, by paying respect, you want to not waste it. Yeah, just eating the whole thing, right? And also when you eat vegetables, yeah, with the skin, yeah, without peeling the skin, eat the whole thing, yeah, including the skin. And usually skin contains a lot of nutrient, yeah, it has a lot of fiber there. Okay, and then plant versus animal, right? So recently there has been a lot of discussion, yeah, between plant-based diet and animal including or animal-based diet, yeah, and then often the argument is based on the nutrition, which is more nutritional and so on, or what about the protein, intake, is it are you able to, gain enough protein from plant-based protein sources and stuff like that? But environmental issues or, sustainability issues such as whether, meat production is not sustainable. It causes the, climate change and so on. Yeah. But quite often the ethical argument or the spiritual argument is not talked about so much. Yeah, although I think it is probably the most important. I mean, the reason why many people are vegetarians or the vegans are because of this spiritual reason. So today, let's look at the spiritual aspect of this plant versus animal. Yeah, especially if you're interested in upgrading your spirituality in your biohacking journey, this becomes critical. Yeah. Now, but first of all, I would like to stress I'm neither for plant or animal. I don't have any sort of agenda because recently you need to be careful. Both argument has some agenda, like some animal argument are supported by meat industry, and then plant argument are supported by artificial meat industry, the plant meat industry and so on. So it has become very difficult to see it neutrally, to see the situation in a kind of neutral ground, right? So basically, in my opinion, it's up to you. Finally, you choose. If you want to eat animals, then do it. If you want to be vegan, then do it. Yeah, there is no right or wrong. Yeah, but I'm just giving one option, especially if you are interested in spirituality. How can you, yeah, upgrade your spirituality about this issue, right? Okay, so in the Hinduism or Buddhism, many people are vegetarians. Well, not all of them, because I know in Japan, for example, many Buddhists are not vegetarians. Yeah, I mean some monks are, but even among monks, not all monks are vegetarians. In fact, interestingly, I find some Shinto priests are vegetarians, even though vegetarianism is not as stressed in Shintoism compared to Buddhism. But some Shinto priests, for example, in the local community, it usually one family like is in charge of the local shrine. You kind of take turns. So in the next 3 years, one family does it, and then you take turn to another family and so on. So during that period, the leader of the family is not supposed to eat any meat. Yeah. So that kind of thing. So in a way, the plant-based diet is considered to be pure and more sort of spiritual diet. Yeah, even in Shintoism, and generally speaking, in Buddhism and Hinduism and some other Indian religions too. Right. So now this is because there is a concept called Ahimsa, both in Buddhism and Hinduism, and that is the core principle of Ahimsa extends compassion to all creatures. Vegetarianism is a way to minimize harm caused to animals. Yeah. Okay. So, and then I don't know if you've seen this sort of, image or sort of chart. Yeah. This is 6 realms. Yeah. And then there are 6 realms that you may go after you die. So you may be reborn into after you die. Yeah. And then from the bottom, hell, hungry ghosts, jealous gods, animal, human, divine. Right. And then so if you eat meat or if you kind of treat animal kind of unkindly, or if you kind of be cruel to animals and things, you may be reborn into the animal realm where the situation will be the opposite. Yeah, in fact, it's kind of interesting because Hayao Miyazaki's new animation, the boy and the heron. Yeah, the boy and the heron. Yeah, there is a scene where the main characters go to a kind of a place, a world where humans are hunted by animals. Human becomes a prey by animals, to eat. Yeah, and stuff like that. So if you watch the film with this concept, it becomes even more interesting, right? But anyway, so it doesn't mean if you eat meat, you will automatically go to the animal realm in the next life, because this ahimsa has many levels. Yeah. So ahimsa is practiced on various levels: physical, avoiding violence and cruelty towards all creatures; mental, cultivating compassion, forgiveness, and non-judgmental thoughts; verbal, abstaining from harsh speech, gossip, and lying; emotional, refraining from anger, hatred, and negativity. Right. So the physical element, yeah. So in this case, yeah, it is better to avoid eating meat, yeah. But even though if you become vegetarians or vegans, if you are, judgmental, or have sort of harsh speech or anger or hatred, then you are not creating a good situation in the concept of ahimsa. So all are taken into consideration, not only just eating meat or not. Yeah. So you need to look at it like holistically, right? Okay. So finally, it's up to you, but up to you what to do about eating meat. Yeah. But you want to take this element into consideration if you are interested in spirituality. Yeah. Now, so I'll give you some other options. Yeah. For example, if you want to eat meat or have to eat meat or something, then think of this one. Yeah. Avoid eating animals close to you the most. It means animals with four legs. Yeah. If you have to, it is better to eat chicken, and fish is even better because it is farther away from us. So this is a concept in Japan. And then, yeah, so the four-legged animals are closer to humans. Therefore, the kind of karmic, I don't know, weight becomes bigger for some reason. So if you want to eat animals, maybe better to choose fish or chicken so that you can kind of minimize the impact. Yeah. Or avoid factory farmed products. Yeah, in fact, this is bigger, I think. Yeah, because you want to avoid cruelty towards animals. So, the way the meat is produced these days with factory farming is very cruel. It's incredibly bad. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. Yeah. So if one thing I recommend is avoid eating factory farmed products. So if you want to eat meat, choose organic grass fed free range, products. Yeah. Um, yeah. So the idea is reducing, right? So some people say, okay, as long as I'm eating organic or grass fed, then I can eat meat all I want. Yeah, but maybe it is possible now because only a few people are choosing to do so. Majority of the meat eaters are consuming factory farmed meat. Yeah. But if more people started consuming organic and grass fed meat in regular basis, I don't think there will be enough supply. I mean, do you think so? Yeah. Thinking of, how many farms produce, meat in that way. So eventually we'll have to reduce the amount of meat we eat. Yeah, in order to, just get more people, stop eating factory farmed meat. Now, so Hare and the K method is a good way to do that. So what are Hare and K? So Hare and K are Japanese concept. Hare means festivals or celebrations. K means usual. So we usually make a distinction between K period and Hare period. Yeah. And then during the K period, we have simple and frugal meals. But during Hare period, we have feast like this. So often at time of festival, we have big meals, but most of the time, usually, especially in the past, we had a very simple, frugal meals. Yeah. So I used this concept in this dietary practice. So making weekdays to be K and stayed on a plant-based diet as much as possible, and weekend to be hare and including meat. So this way, because you're limiting the meat consumption only to the weekend, then you can afford more expensive meat, such as organic, grass-fed, free range, and stuff like that. Yeah. But if you eat it every day, unless you're very wealthy, it is very difficult to only choose organic, grass-fed, and free range. Yeah. Now, this system goes well with intermittent fasting. So I usually practice hare and ke with intermittent fasting that I call hare and ke intermittent fasting. So during the ke period, you practice fasting, but on the weekend, you break from fasting. So you only fast 5 days a week, but not on the weekend. Yeah. And this goes well with plant-based versus meat kind of structure because when you practice intermittent fasting, it is better if you eat plant because it takes less time to digest. On the other hand, if you eat meat, it takes longer time to digest. So to transition from fed state to fasted state, it takes longer. So even though you are doing 17 hours fast, the effect is maybe about 16 hours fast or 15 hours fast. Yeah, if you eat meat, because it takes longer time to digest. Yeah. But with the plant, maybe the same length as the 17 hours. Yeah, effect. Right. Okay. So, and also intermittent fasting is critical for spirituality. It adds a spiritual element to your diet. Therefore, I recommend that you practice intermittent fasting regardless of your diet. Yeah. So recently, some people have stopped practicing intermittent fasting for a nutritional reason. They think you cannot gain enough protein if you practice intermittent fasting. Yeah. Or for autophagy activation reason, because you can activate autophagy from exercise as well. So some people kind of switch to exercising and not so much fasting, but fasting has this spiritual benefit, and that is critical if we want to increase your spirituality. Yeah. Okay, so for details, I made another video. It's called Intermittent Fasting, New Myth Debunked and Benefit You Shouldn't Ignore. So please watch that. Okay, so the next element is Mago wa Yasashi. This isn't from Zen Shojin Diet, but it is a popular concept in the Japanese natural food movement today. Yeah. Now, ma comes from mame, which means beans. And then go is from goma, which means sesame seeds. And then wa is from wakame, which means seaweeds. And then ya is from yasai, which means vegetables. And sa is from sakana, which means fish. And si is from shiitake, which is a type of mushroom called shiitake mushrooms. Yeah. And then comes from imo, which means potatoes. Right. And so fish, you may be wondering if you want to avoid animals, how come fish is part of it? Well, so by the way, Mago Yasashi is not from Zen Shojin Diet, right? Because Zen Shojin Diet is usually can recommend plant-based diet. Yeah. Because Japan, yeah, we're surrounded by the ocean, which is available a lot, and then throughout the history, it was the most convenient source of protein. So people have eaten fish throughout our history. And also, it has tremendous nutritional benefit. You know, omega-3 fatty acid is incredible, and you cannot get it from plant sources, not in the same degree anyway. Also, it's a good source of calcium and vitamin D. Yeah. So it's up to you whether you want to include fish or not. I mean, if you don't like the idea of eating fish, then yeah, you can exclude fish. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and then another thing you want to include in your diet is whole grains. Yeah, such as brown rice, whole wheat, barley, buckwheat, oats, and native grains. Yeah. So therefore, mago wa yasashi plus ko means kokumotsu, means grain. So yeah, I advocate mago wa yasashi ko. Yeah. And so beans, all kinds of beans. Yeah. Go, all kinds of seeds and nuts. Yeah. Wa, all kinds of seaweeds. Yeah, all kinds of vegetables, all kind of fish, and sea, but especially kind of small fish, yeah, small fish and wild caught fish, and sea, mushrooms, all kind of mushrooms, eat all kinds of potatoes, and all kinds of whole grains, right? And the idea is diversity. So you want to have diverse beans and diverse nuts and seeds and so on. Yeah, that, add the diversity of your fiber intake. It is critical to have, about 30 different kind of fiber a week for your gut microbiome. Right? Okay, the next concept is Ichiju Sansai, and that is not necessarily from Zen Shojin Diet either, yeah, but it is practiced in Washoku dietary culture. Um, Okay, so ichiju means one soup. Sansai means three side dishes. So usually, a ichiju sansai meal consists of one soup, which is usually a miso soup, and then a bowl of rice, and then a small plate of pickles. Yeah, those are the basic set. And then three small dishes. Yeah, and that is called ichiju sansai. Sometimes it becomes four side dishes or five side dishes. Yeah. Okay. The idea is having many small dishes, which creates diversity and balance. So you have a good balance of, carbs, protein, fat, vitamin, minerals by having many small dishes. Yeah. And also you can choose diverse ingredients. Yeah. Different kind of vegetables, beans, yeah, grains, and so on. Right. Okay. However, you don't have to eat Japanese food. Yeah. To practice Ichiju Sansai, you can do that with the Mediterranean diet too. Or just, you can apply Ichiju Sansai to your food. Yeah. Your local ingredients. For example, you can just have one protein dish and a carb dish and maybe a salad, because salad is common everywhere, right? And a soup. Doesn't have to be miso soup, just any kind of soup, your local soup. And add another vegetable dish, add another kind of protein dish, add fermented food dish. Yeah, the fermented food is another key word in this optimal dietary culture. Yeah, so you want to include fermented food, yeah, because it is wonderful for your gut microbiome. Yeah, and I recommend natto very much because it is fermented food and it is also fiber rich and plant-based protein source. Yeah, it's one of the few plant-based protein sources which has high protein content. Yeah, and you know about natto, right? I talked about natto in my channel all the time, right? And so please incorporate that in, the Magwa Yasashi kind of ingredients. Okay, so I'll give you an example of your kind of weekly, dietary sort of schedule. Yeah. So for example, on Monday, you can practice 17 hours fast and you stay on a plant-based diet. And then Tuesday, 17 hours fast and you can include fish. Yeah. And then Wednesday, 24 hours fast. Yeah. And then plant-based. And then Thursday, 17 hours fast and plant-based with fish. Yeah, Friday 17 hours fast, plant-based, and then the weekend you can have 3 meals, and then you can include eggs, chicken, fish, cheese, and then choose, good ones like organic, grass-fed, free range, and so on. Yeah. Um, And also the weekend is the protein loading period. Yeah, because if you practice fasting, for example, and if you're on a plant-based, generally your protein intake will be smaller. So to compensate that on the weekend, you can focus on the protein and then make it a protein loading period. Right. Now, if you are interested in upgrading your spirituality more, you can even try 36 hours once a week plan. Yeah. Um, this is much harder than 24 hours fast, but if you can, this would be a great. Just to practice 36 hours fast once a week is good for your meditation and everything. It's also called a monk fast because it is, good for monks, right? Now, the another element is adding hygge to your diet. Yeah. So hygge, Danish hygge, which means, coziness and, being comfortable. And in other words, enjoy eating, enjoy when you eat. This is critical. Yeah. Because you want to have positive vibration all the time. Yeah. When you talk to people, when you do exercise, when you eat all the time, you want to have a positive vibration and eating too. So the problem of some kind of strict diet is because it's so strict, the eating becomes like a training, not so much fun. Therefore, you don't have this kind of positive vibration. So you want to enjoy eating too. And therefore, it is good to have a hare period from time to time so that you can kind of relax and enjoy your meals. Yeah. During the K period, it's kind of okay to use it as a sort of disciplined period, like a, your training. Yeah. But generally speaking, pay attention to your vibration, your mindset. This is important for your spirituality. Yeah. Also, uh, having social life is important because it becomes your ikigai. Yeah, and that can promote your health and longevity. Um, Now, so the reason why I don't make any rules or I make the diet easy going is precisely this point. Yeah, this way it is easier to make it sort of social occasion. But if you have a strict rule, on the other hand, it's kind of difficult to eat with others. Therefore, you end up eating just by yourself. Yeah, and then lastly, this social aspect has a lot of benefit. Yeah. Now, the same argument is true about alcohol too. So I know alcohol isn't good for you in terms of the, I don't know, okay, scientific or the kind of medical, angles. There's no benefit to alcohol. That is probably true, but it has a social benefit. Yeah. For some people, it is your ikigai and it gives you kind of I don't know, excuse to get together with others. And when you, communicate with others and you feel happy and that changes your mentality. Yeah. So I don't recommend drinking a lot. Yeah. But occasionally having alcohol may contribute to that element in spite of the fact that it has all the negative elements when it comes to a physical influence. Yeah. More in detail, I made a video called Should We Stop Drinking for Longevity? What happens to our Ikigai? Yeah, so please watch that. Now, funny thing is, recently, many people are talking about this topic. I mean, not this topic, but gonna stop drinking alcohol. Yeah, it has become a buzzing. It is buzzing on YouTube now. Like many kind of longevity influencers are uh, concurrently addressing this topic. Yeah, I just find it kind of bit strange. I mean, it might sort of make you feel wonder if there's another agenda. I talked about plant versus animals. There's a sort of meat industry, and then plant meat industries are kind of involved in. So I just wonder if there's going to be another product, like a alcohol-free, beverage or something. I don't know. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'm just becoming overly paranoid. But yeah, it's just like so many people all at the same time suddenly addressing this topic. I quit drinking. Yeah, kind of strange. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so please watch this video for details. All right. To sum up, yeah. So this is called the Ikigai diet. Yeah. So the important element, hygge and a positive vibration, organic, local, fermented food, mago e asashiko, ichiju sansai, plant-based in the context of hare and kei, and then Shindofuji, Ichibutsu Zentaishoku. All right. For the detail, please read my book. Yeah, because the book, I basically write everything in the book. Ichiju Sansai to Ichibutsu Zentaishoku, Shindofuji Magoai Asashi, yeah, and Hygge, yeah, as well. And also, especially chapter 13, I have a chapter called Ikigai Diet Menu. Then I write is more specifically what you can have for your breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, an example of your Ichiju Sansai meal. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Hachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Biohacking. If you like this video, please give me your thumb up and subscribe to my channel. Yeah, and please leave your comment. Yeah, what will be your dietary kind of plan in 2024. Thank you. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Live with your Ikigai!